This morning. And today what I want to talk about is this idea of trusting our gut. And I want to start out by saying I think it's one of those topics we have to be really careful about. I mean, it becomes very easy in this era to just say, "Oh, just trust your gut." Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. But we can trust our gut in terms of spiritual things when we're coming from a really loving place. If we're really trying to come from a loving place, that really is a way that God can speak to us. And we're looking at a story that has a little touch on that. So the story is the story of Abram, his journey into the promised land. It's an ancient story, and it's a story where we both look at it at a surface level and we look at it at a deeper level that has a lot of beautiful, deeper truths to it. And one of the beautiful parts about Christian New Church theology is that we believe that some of these places that are mentioned actually have a poetic meaning to them. It's a little like if I say Route 66 to you, probably for a lot of you that conjures up a lot of imagery. What's the same with some of these biblical names? They're there and they give us a perspective on things and they give us a deeper way to understand it. And it talks about Abraham starting to cross over and he comes to this beautiful grove with his family. And the grove is the grove of Moreh. Now I want to chat for a minute about what we're asked to think of that might mean. We're asked to think that that might mean those very first perceptions. Those very first perceptions. I want to read you just a little bit about that. These perceptions are an inherent result of loving others in a heavenly way, since the Lord is present only in the heavenly aspects of charity, which also reveal him to our eyes. So you think about that, folks. You think about this God appearing, God speaking. How does God speak to us? That idea that we have these perceptions, we have these gut feelings, and many of these gut feelings, and I can't think of rays of light here. They come out of these radiant things that we see in the world. People really taking care of each other, moments of deep compassion, watching a child help another child, watching one of your siblings help another sibling, watching two siblings who usually fight, usually going at each other all the time, watch them decide to play a board game. You can pick any number of things out there. When we see that thing, there's just this gut reaction of like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's what's true. Yeah, that's what's beautiful. That's what we're talking about here. And that's a sign and a symbol again of a crossover into a place that's more spiritual. What's fascinating about that in many ways is Emmanuel Swedenborg posits that maybe, asks us to consider it, maybe that's how we actually start to see God. That of course we can see God in revelation and words and theology and all that kind of stuff, but we can also see God in those little rays of sunshine. Like that's where God makes himself really apparent, is in those things. It's a beautiful counterintuitive flip on things because so much of spirituality is based on like words and language and theology, theo god, logic, so God logic, trying to think through the logic of God. And that is a very fruitful, good, positive activity. And it's interesting from a Christian New Church perspective. Here is a piece of theology that says, okay, if you go right by this piece of theology, you got to come back to a gut sense and learn to trust your gut, that when you see something that's really true, that you may be seeing in a way the face of God, and that we have to be open to that and allow that to move us. And it's not just a sentimental thing, folks. It's not just like oh, that's a warm fuzzy, and granted it does have a warm fuzzy feel to it. There are times for warm fuzzies, but the real point of it is it gets into our gut, it gets into our heart, and gets us to move as well, gets us to do these things as well. Even this morning I was out on a walk, long conversation with my brother, and it just was feeling a little grouchy today. And there's this guy who rides along the bike path every day. He sees me, he says, "Hi Chuck, how you doing?" Just a quick little exchange. And so I decided to just do the same thing. Oftentimes on these walks I'm walking past the same people and trying in particular to make some eye contact and say, "Hey, good morning." Those are the places, folks, again, when we see that those parts that just kind of resonate with our gut, seeing somebody do something kind that make a difference. And then what can we be motivated to do out of that? So the thought for today, folks, is really learn to trust your gut on those things, and it's be careful about overemploying this one. I'm really sensitive about that. I've worked in the educational field for a long time. And when a teenager's like, "Oh, I'm just going to trust my gut on this," I'd be super careful. But I think we can always trust our gut when we see something good, we see somebody serving, we see something being done that's being done out of love, and we go like, "Oh, that's good." And I know that in my heart. And now how can that move me? That particular way of trusting your gut, I think you can trust 100% of the time. I think that's always going to lead you in the right direction. So I hope that makes sense, friends. And I hope we have a good week ahead of us here. So what we're going to do now we're going to shift gears. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a breath. We're going to do a little prayer. We're going to do a little blessing, and then we'll say hi to folks on social media. And what we're going to do with all of this is just have this to be a moment just to kind of still things and get us back to first things first. So with that, friends, I'd ask us all to just take a big breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. Oh, all right, friends. Let's say a little cheery hello to those of you who are possibly joining us on social media. Give a little hello. Again, I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. That's what I hope everyone had. All right, number of different comments here. Linda writes, "Good morning," and good morning to you, Marcus. Good morning to you, Marcus. I'm sorry about not getting that little video, and I got confused. So you and I will touch base on getting that thing in tomorrow. Sherry, good morning to you, my friend. Patricia, good morning to you. I hope you are doing very well, my friend. All right, little cheery hello over here. All right. Hello to the folks watching over there. I see you out there in Colorado. Great to have you joining us as well as others. So, folks, thank you for joining us today. And may you have a day learning to trust your gut, but trust it around the right things, which are things that always come from love and caring for other people. Take care, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.